Hi, survivors. It's me, Represent, reporting to you. Hope you guys are doing well because what's going on in this world is not. Y'all, it's a lot of people having problems with the administration's open border policy. They say it fuels violence against women and children. I've been talking about this the whole time. It's not safe for them. It's not safe for women and children in these communities that these people are inundating. It says that the border crisis is a cauldron of violence against women and children. One study estimated that 60% of unaccompanied migrating children are caught by cartels and exploited through child pornography and drug trafficking. As long as this administration incentivizes foreigners to illegally immigrate, the Mexican drug cartels will continue to have a river of prey to rob, rape, abuse, and exploit. They said the Democrats and their hype man in the corporate media defend the non-president Biden criminal refusal to secure America's southern border as chic, compassionate, and welcoming. But in truth, the border crisis is a cauldron of violence against women and children, the responsibility for which lies directly at the feet of the president, his administration, and the woke elites who have enabled his monstrous policy. The facts are not in dispute. They are simply not discussed in polite, progressive company. Every nation south of our border knows full well that President Biden's policy is to allow every illegal immigrant who can get to the United States to stay here. They know America's soulless corporations love undocumented workers because, lacking legal rights, they accept lower wages and worse conditions than American citizens would. That's another issue. They're going to replace a lot of people's jobs. Fighting human trafficking and battling Biden's open border. So they come more than 1 million in 2021, 2.2 million more in 2022, and at an even higher monthly rate so far this year. On this side of the border, Biden's illegal immigration crisis is fueling an opioid epidemic, a violent crime wave, and the accelerating collapse of trust in public institutions. These travesties, to say nothing of the president's oath to faithfully execute the nation's laws, are reason enough for Washington to finally secure the border, but it's on the other side of the border that Biden's crisis may be taking its most brutal toll. For drug cartels, not the Mexican government, truly control the migration routes north to America, Mexicans, Hondurans, El Salvadorians, Guatemalans, and others making the trek to El Norte have little choice but to hire cartel coyotes to guide them on the way. A criminal racket now worth in the billions per year. Of course, the poorest and most vulnerable migrants without money must compensate their smugglers in other ways. You have to pay with your body, one victim told the New York Times. Almost 1 in 3 migrant women report being sexually assaulted. Other coyotes prefer younger prey, offering to help mothers cross in exchange for sex with their daughters. Some take money up front only to abandon their clients in the desert. Hundreds die every year making the harrowing journey. Then I heard in some of them hotels in New York City where they're allowing those migrants to stay, I heard that they're giving them condoms and rape kits. So this is just really bad. Cartels routinely kidnap migrants even after they have paid to squeeze more money out of them. One study estimated that 60% of unaccompanied migrating children are caught by cartels and exploited through child pornography and drug trafficking, yet Homeland Security Alejandro Mayorkas continues to encourage the flow of unaccompanied minors, promising not to expel them and to care for that young child. That's a false promise. Of course, the administration immediately loses track of 1/3 of minors it allows in and cannot locate over 85,000 migrant children in the United States. A whistleblower of the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services recently testified before Congress on the scandal. Today, children will work overnight shifts at slaughterhouses, factories, restaurants to pay their debts to smugglers and traffickers. Today, children will be sold for sex. Today, children will call a hotline to report they are being abused, neglected, and trafficked. True to form, the Biden administration's response to this is not to actually seal the border and end the violence. Rather, they have set up programs to help raped, pregnant women and girls get abortions. That's terrible. The cost of Biden's border crisis the first 2 years, none of this is a surprise, and all of it is Joe is his fault, the non-president. He has the power to say nothing of the constitutional duty to secure the border and end this chaos. He chooses not to do so. To satisfy his woke globalist base, keeping the border open is a form of virtue signaling the human toll is devastating. But it sure looks good on MSNBC. The issue is no more complicated than that. As long as Biden incentivized foreigners to illegally immigrate to the United States by leaving the southern border unsecured, Mexican drug cartels will continue to have a river of prey to rob, rape, abuse, and exploit. Women and children will remain the most vulnerable. U.S. authorities will continue to process abused children, raped women, and dead bodies as part of their day-to-day jobs. It's so unfortunate and sad. And American taxpayers will continue to bankroll Washington's unconscionable complicity in drug smuggling, human trafficking, and organized savagery against helpless women and children. Remember all this the next time a Democrat says border security will be insensitive. It's true. It's some hidden agendas dealing with this, I feel, and I'm going to say allegedly with that. They're exposing a lot of them in this last movie. I'm not going to say what it is, but y'all know the one that the media don't want to talk about and they don't want to come out. That has come out what's going on in these tragedies when dealing with women and children. That war over there overseas, a lot of those children were abducted. A lot of women were raped. A lot of women were left vulnerable to be alone because they made their husbands go and fight. Things were happening and the women and children were left alone. And because of it, a lot of children were abducted. A lot of women were raped and also killed. And it's so terrible. Same thing is occurring with this situation with the border. A lot of women are being raped. A lot of their girls are being taken from them. A lot of human trafficking is going on. A lot of drug cartels bringing drugs over here, smuggling it over here. It's just a lot of nonsense foolishness. These people want everybody to think, oh, they're trying to do a humanitarian thing, trying to help people. But there's a lot of hidden agendas, allegedly. And we hearing about them too. I'm not the one to speak about it because that's just not for me to do. But let's pray about the situation. It's really tough and it's really ugly and it's getting thicker out here with all this stuff. But I thank God that people are starting to expose it. And it better late than never. Because this stuff is terrible. And just because people have money, just because people are in power, doesn't make them right. Just because, they might be politicians or whatnot, that don't make it right. Just because people may be billionaires, just because they do stuff, don't make it right. This country's all about money. Just because somebody got money or some power or they're in politics or tech or whatever, don't make it right when they do certain things. It's a way, it's a process that's in place to handle these types of things. You letting people in and everybody come over here, you putting everybody at risk. You putting those poor families, those women and children that's crossing at risk, and you putting us at risk. Because they got to be in our communities. They're taking up our resources. Not saying we're trying to be selfish, but we have people over here in our own families that need to be provided for. So, it's nice to help people, but it's like you have to take care of home as well. And they're totally neglecting Americans right now, doing a very crucial, hard time for most people. People over here are suffering. So, y'all, man, we just got to keep, prayer, stay out the way, man. It's just too much going on. It'll make your head spin, you know what I'm saying? It's just a lot. Please follow me on Patreon for real, raw, uncut, unfiltered content about how I really feel about these situations, because I can't talk about it on here. Please support the allegedly, and good luck with that t-shirts. All the proceeds go back into the channel. If you're looking for bug-out areas to escape to during the SHTF, which is really now safe areas for your family and your children. I have a great bug-out area in Texas. You can find the information on purposeand.com. You'll pay a monthly fee, very low, or you can pay for it annually and have access to it all year round. If you have a boat, you can bring it. There's a pool there, there's lakes there, deer fishing. It's a beautiful place. And if you're looking for land and bug out areas, I have some for sale in Texas. Go to purposeand.com. If you're looking for survivalism gear, you can find it on purposeand.com. Y'all tell me what y'all think about this border issue. How do you feel about it? In regards to the migrants, in regards to our governor here in Texas, in regards to the whole situation, y'all. It's really sad in regards to what they're saying is happening to these poor women and children and to the families who are crossing. And as always, you guys watch this world, watch the weather, smell your water, boil and purify your water before you use it, and keep surviving. PrepperZan.com.